Hello, friends. Mrs. Mack coming to you with the vocabulary for the week of April 13th. If we take a look, we have some harder words this week, so I want to make sure that we take the time to go over them and you know what they are before you get into your assignment. So, our first word is archaeology. The graduate student in archaeology helped to uncover the ancient temple. Someone who studies archaeology is a person who goes and looks for fossils and remnants of a different time period, of different animals, of different, in this case, you can see it looks like they're looking at a shell from a different time period. So archaeology is the study of old things. All right, our next word is document. Helen writes in her diary so she can document the events of her day. Okay, so you may have talked about documents in this setting in science or social studies because we read firsthand documents of things that have happened in history. People write them down. They might have a journal, they may have a diary. They're talking about how things happened at a specific time in history. So she writes a diary so she can document her life, and maybe years from now, somebody will look back and say, oh, so this is what life was like in 2020. Our next word is era. The moon landing in 1969 began a new era of space exploration. Okay, in this case, era means a new time period. So landing on the moon was only the beginning of exploration in space. So this was the start of a new time period where we studied space in person. The next word is evidence. The detectives looked for evidence at the crime scene. So when they are looking for evidence, they are looking for clues as to what might have happened to cause the crime. Our next word is expedition. The wildlife biologist led an expedition to explore the rainforest. So if you look at the picture, you'll see that they are actually in the rainforest and they're studying where the rainforest in person. So an expedition is a journey or an adventure where you explore a certain area. The next word is permanent. The pyramids were made of large stones, so they stayed fixed and permanent. Okay, so as the video said, permanent means lasting. The pyramids have been there for years and years and years, hundreds of years. They aren't going anywhere. Something that is permanent is made to last, it's made to stay. Your next word is tremendous. I can see a tremendous number of stars in the sky tonight. So when we look at the picture, we don't see just one star. We see lots and lots and lots of different stars. So a tremendous number is a very large number. So tremendous means a lot of. The next vocabulary word is uncover. What did you uncover when you cleaned the old painting? So if we take a look at the picture, the man is cleaning the picture. Okay, so in the question it says, what did you uncover? So by taking off some of the dirt, they probably found new color. They may have found some new detail. So when you uncover it, you make it known, you make it visible. And this takes us back to the beginning of our vocabulary words. We're going to go one more place and take a moment to do our vocabulary practice sheet. Here we go. And remember, as always, if you need more practice, you can play the games on your computer. All right, so we are going to start by looking at the word expedition. List 2 things you would take with you if you were going on a hiking expedition. So I want to think about that. We talked about the expedition to the rainforest in the picture. So if I was going hiking on an expedition or a journey, an exploration, what might I need to take with me? Well, I know that when I hike, I get thirsty. So I would say I would take a water bottle, and if I am exploring, I'm going to want to take notes of the things I'm seeing. So I would take a water bottle and a notebook to record what I see. So those are 2 things that I would take with me. The next one is permanent. Name something that is a permanent part of your classroom. So let's think back to our classroom, and I know it's been a while since we've been there. But when you go into your classroom, what is something that is always there? It's never gone. I will say, because I'm going to restate my question, my answer with the question, a permanent part of my classroom is my desk. When I go into that room, my desk is always there. May not always be in the same place depending on what my teacher was up to, but it is always there. Okay, evidence. Pretend you are a detective looking for clues and evidence on the floor of the classroom. So I don't have anything to write for this one, but I want to pretend. So maybe I came into the room and I'm looking around on the floor and I see scraps of paper. I see a few crayons. I see a pencil. I see a bottle of glue laying on the floor. I would take those clues, that evidence, and put it together, and I would make a guess then, based on my evidence, that maybe you guys had done an art project when I was not in the room. Or if you are in Mrs. Hagen's class, maybe you had been working on your notebooks. All right, let's take a look at number 4. Era. List one way people stayed in touch before the era of email and texting. So we talked about the era being a time period. So before you could email or text something, what was another way that people could be in touch? So before the era of texting and emailing, I would have written a letter to stay in touch with my friends. Okay, so there was an era of letter writing, which was the way people mostly communicated. Now we have more of an era of email and texting. Let's look at archaeology. An archaeologist is someone who studies archaeology. So when you study archaeology, do you learn about the future or the past? When we looked at it, we saw the imprint of the shell in the picture on our vocabulary. They were talking about an ancient place. So when I study archaeology, When you study archaeology, you study the past. You might study dinosaur bones or ancient civilizations. So those are things that have already happened. Document. Circle the 2 words below that are synonyms for document. Remember, synonyms mean the same. Okay, so I'm going to come back here and take a look. A document. We talked about writing in a diary to document information. So I would record what was happening in my life. If I am documenting it, am I shouting? I don't know about that one. Let's look at the next one. Note. Am I taking note of the things that are happening around me? If I'm documenting, I'm looking around and writing down the events going on around me. So I will take note. So document means to record or to take note of something. The next word is uncover. Underline the word cover in uncover. So I'm going to underline cover. It says to circle the prefix un. So what does uncover mean? I know that when I cover something, I make it so that you can't see it. I put something over the top of it. But if I uncover it, I'm going to take that cover off so that I can see what is underneath. So I would write that uncover means to show what is underneath. So maybe I will uncover the plate and you will see that there are a bunch of chocolate chip cookies underneath. All right, tremendous. Draw a picture of a tree that has a tremendous number of branches on it. So I'm going to come back here, and remember, Mrs. Mack is not a great artist, and I don't have my full color supply. So here is my tree, and if I have a tremendous amount of branches, that means that I am going to have branches coming off in all sorts of directions everywhere. So my tree will have a tremendous amount of branches. That means it will have a lot of branches. And under that, I can show some of my greenery. But you can see the amount of branches that are showing underneath. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, if you need help with any of your vocabulary words, you can always reach out and we are here to help any of the 4th grade teachers. Take care, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.